Ain't no other crew spreading power like us. Brothers like us, brothers like us. Ain't no other squad lifting spirits like us. Brothers like us, brothers like us. Ain't no team bringing brotherhood like us. Brothers like us, brothers like us. Ain't no man moving in purpose like us. Brothers like us, brothers like us.
And how's everybody doing tonight? It is Brothers Like Us coming to you live. I think some of the brothers will be jumping on, sending a link to a couple of other so we can have this really important discussion. Actually, um, I actually was not going to come on tonight, but I do think this is a very important topic, and I hope everybody is doing well. Um, and now I know I'm joining in the middle of a football game, but I'm watching the football game too. Don't get it twisted. I am watching as well. And I look forward to a good game and a good, again, we're not going to be on long, but I wanted to talk about some stuff that's been going on. Just give me a moment. I'm going to shoot this link to a few people that I think would love to be a part of this conversation. Give me a moment. Uh, and we'll see who jumps in. But so, as you see from the title, talking about dealing with loss, it's been uh, anyone connected with me personally or on my social media pages or whatever, you've sort of seen some of the stuff that was going on with the loss that my family have been dealing with, and my family, it's been pretty trying. And I definitely think because of my biblical worldview and my faith, that definitely has helped me to navigate the loss that we've been dealing with. But by no means does that mean it's been easy to deal with. So I'm gonna hope some brothers on here so we can discuss it. How they navigated some loss and some things that they've gone through recently. I know a couple of very close friends have dealt with this recently, and of course, most of us have dealt with it at some point in our lifetime. So looking forward to diving into this. And for any of you that are out there that want to join the conversation, want to give your input, share a thought or two on anything, that please feel free to join us. Let me see if I could find a link. You could join online. You could leave a message in the chat. Yeah, let me see. Leave a message in the chat and we'll share it, and we'll discuss whatever you guys want to discuss as well. Let me see. A lot of brothers are just reading my text right now. We didn't set this up early. Like I said, I was not going to come on, but I think it's important. This, Brothers Like Us started doing during the pandemic. We were all home. we were all dealing with different things or whatever, and it was an outlet for us to come together just as men, to talk, to share what we were going through at the time. And it was, I believe it was very helpful for all. And I think, as we look to relaunch and come back on and talk to all of you out there, I think it's going to be helpful as well. So um, let's see what we can do here. Give me one moment to get a couple of things in place here. Uh, this again for y'all, and how y'all like this intro that we've been playing around with. I should say that I've been playing around with. Let me move that.
Ain't no other crew spreading power like us. Brothers like us, brothers like us. Ain't no other squad lifting spirits like us. Brothers like us, brothers like us. Ain't no team bringing brotherhood like us. Brothers like us, brothers like us. Ain't no man moving in purpose like us. Brothers like us, brothers like us. Ain't no other crew spreading power like us. Brothers like us, brothers like us. Ain't no other squad lifting spirits like us. Brothers like us, brothers like us. Ain't no team bringing brotherhood like us. Brothers like us, brothers like us. Ain't no man moving in purpose like us. Brothers like us, brothers like us. Ain't no other crew spreading power like us. Brothers like us, brothers like us. Ain't no other squad lifting spirits like us. Brothers like us, brothers like us. Ain't no team bringing brotherhood like us. Brothers like us, brothers like us. Ain't no man moving in purpose like us. Brothers like us, brothers like us.
All right. Okay, looks like we got a little bit of had to get some things together here. It's showing that it's showing up on our YouTube page. Brothers Like Us channel. It's showing up on my Facebook page. Thurston O'Neill. See a couple of Brothers Like Us. People are watching from that page. People are joined from the page and get this conversation going. So the overarching question for us tonight is, how do you deal with loss? How do you deal with loss? I think I'm relatively good at it, but I know there are some holes that I need to plug um, regarding how I deal with loss. So we're gonna see. We're gonna uh, discuss this to get myself together here. Yeah, I like that. I like that view there. So recently, my man is here. Of course. Reg, how are you, brother?
Good to be here, man. Good to
Yes,
see you.
sir.
I don't see you
You,
yet,
bro.
but
Hold on. Can you see me now? Hold on.
no.
How about now? I don't know why you can't see me. I'm seeing both of us on screen here.
Wait, let me
Uh,
see. Oh, yeah, I got it. I got it. Oh,
okay.
that was
All right.
me.
Cool.
Uh,
Cool. My brother, I've missed you so much, Reg. I really, really have, man.
I miss
Um,
you too, man. I miss all the brothers. I know it's been a
yeah,
minute. Um, but
yeah. It's been a minute. It's I'm glad that we're all back. We're all coming back together. Listen, like I said, I really don't plan on being on long today, but
yeah,
you are the perfect person for this show today, Reg. And I know. I mean, I've dealt with loss over the years. Parents passing, siblings passing, and stuff. But the last couple of months, I think if you keeping up or you've seen my social, we've lost in our families, particularly on Erica's
yeah.
side. And it all started actually, it started with us having to put our dog Dexter. We had to put him down.
Wow.
And it was tough, bro. And that was the start of something like steamrolling. So just talking about how we deal with loss. And of course, you can share as much or as little as you want regarding this subject, but um it's been a tough time. To how would you explain how you navigate dealers, Reg?
Oh man, I'm still learning. Um,
Uh-huh.
I've lost people before, but this is my mom, so it
Mm,
hits differently.
yep.
I've been learning to lean into the love I've been receiving, the
Mm,
support I've been receiving. That's important to lean into it, and
right.
also to lean into the pain. Also lean into the pain. Like every day is different. There's days where I'm fine, I feel fine, and all of a sudden, in a moment of time, I'm super emotional. I find
Mm,
myself wanting to fall apart in the strangest of places. Um, The other day, I just wanted to hear my mom's voice, and I have a lot of saved voice messages, and I just was listening.
okay.
And so I think you learn to navigate day by day. You have to be
Right.
okay with the grieving process. It's gonna hurt differently. It's
Mm,
gonna feel differently. It's gonna happen at different times that you don't expect. You could be out. You could be at work. You could be in the public. You could be on a train. You could be driving.
yep.
And you have to be okay. I was in Jersey for New Year's. We Boots ministered for a church called Epic in Jersey for New Year's, and we had a rehearsal the Sunday prior to. It's about it's about 70 kids, right? It's a big church, a big stage, and it's my team and it's another team combined, and the team is led by two young people who are my kindergarten students and who
Uh-huh.
started their own step team. So we have
Oh,
uh, uh
wow.
yeah, we have a beautiful partnership. They have some amazing kids, and I'm watching them rehearse. I'm watching them put things together. I'm just watching, and all of a sudden, I just got my face. I don't know. I must have zoned out because the kids noticed, and they came to me, "Hey, Minister Reggie, you okay?" And one of them walked over to me and said, "Hey, do you need a minute?" you know, so they know because I share with them. They went through the whole process of my mom being in the hospital, and they the
Okay.
the youth have been with me through this emotional journey. But I'll
Right.
just say in short that it's a day by day thing. You're still learning. You deal with it differently. But I will
Yeah.
say this too. For me, the biggest thing that I'm dealing with, and I'm going to be honest about it. The biggest thing that I'm dealing with, and is just family stuff. you know,
Mm,
there's a
yeah.
lot of things that there's a lot of things that shows up in family when you lose somebody so important. Because there's people who
Stuff that
dealt
you
with.
don't expect to, stuff that you don't expect to show up, right? Or shows up vastly differently from what you would expect. Yeah.
Yes, because everybody has a different relationship with the person. Everybody has their own relationship with that person, or there's been
Uh-huh.
some there's been some things that never was reconciled or whatever. And that's been the word for me. The word for me has
Wow.
been reconcile. I've been reconciling some of my own things. I wasn't the perfect son when I was younger.
Mm,
I've made a lot of mistakes. And so you know, you visit those things and then you kind of wish things, but God has been healing my heart, saying, hey, that was then, you know what I'm saying? But some people still live in that place. Some people haven't moved from that place. And sometimes you have to reconcile that. You have to ask God to help you how to deal with with so that's kind of like where I am. Um, but all
uh-huh.
in all, man, it's a day by day process. When you lose somebody so close to you, you expect it, especially us walking with the Lord for so long and knowing that this is a part
Yeah.
of life. It doesn't alleviate the pain. It's going to be painful because we're human, right? It's going to hurt. Um,
Right.
yes, it's a day by day thing. It's a day by day process.
Um, oh, so listen, um, man, that was full, Reg, and my my I'm really coming to terms with how to properly. Now I think I know how to properly grieve or have an idea. I also still struggle on personal barriers because like you said something earlier. You find yourself in the weirdest places when emotions come across and it hits you at a moment and you can find yourself in tears. And I lost my mother, who I was really close to, lost my sister Sandy, who I was really close to, and um, but myself going into a mode of planning. Let's plan the funeral, and get the obituary together, and all of this other stuff, right? And I think in doing that, I blocked myself from fully grieving, fully going through the process. John, I see you joining, but it keeps coming off and on. So um, I'm not sure if it's just your connection. But so Reg, and so I don't think I have emotion from overtaking me in those moments, but I feel like I've just busied myself, and I fear that has in that moment that stopped me from fully grieving properly. You know what
Thirst,
I
let me say
mean?
this. Let me say this. I did everything by myself.
Mm,
Uh,
wow.
I planned the funeral. I cleaned out my mother's place by myself. And it's not that I didn't have help. I just didn't want the help. I really didn't. I wanted to do everything by myself. I had
Okay.
people calling me, and I had some people show up too. Even when I said no, I had some people show up and say, "Hey,
Okay.
I came just to see."
They just came
Right, but
anyway.
I
Even though
didn't.
you said no, they would still pop up. I got you.
Yeah, but for the most part, I busied myself to do the best I could to plan a service, and that wasn't smooth. And then after the service, I kept working. I kept doing things. This week I leave to go away. I'm take a little break. It's necessary. I don't think necessarily I was blocking the grieving process. I think I was giving myself time to get those things, because also I was planning and preparing to be there for Mo because her father was not in a good place also. So we knew that was going to happen.
Right.
So I
Wow.
had to take care of my mother's affairs just to prepare to be there for my wife. And no sooner, 2 weeks later, he passed. And it happened
Right.
quick because we was trying to go out there to be with him so she could be with him. And we got the tickets and everything, and then we got the call. So um, but now I'm in a place where I recognize Thurston. I did. There was one point when I said, "Ooh, I need some time. I need some time to go somewhere and just receive and just be still."
Say that
I
last thing you
recognize
said,
that.
Reg. It paused for a moment. What was that last thing you said?
No, I said there was a point. I don't know. I was doing something, and then the Lord said to me, "Hey, you need to be still."
Pausing for everybody? Is everybody pausing?
Sorry,
I'm
guys.
hoping it's not. My connection looks strong. I
No,
want.
I can hear him good.
Yeah, I think Thurston. It might be you because I got everybody else, but you're pausing a lot. So I don't know if it's
I'm gonna move to a stronger
if
connection.
it,
Hold on.
and I just want to say what's up to the brothers. Hey, so John. I think Thurston's still on.
I can hear you.
I think he's trying to fix his audio.
Yeah. Well, how you brothers doing?
Good, 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 good.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah. Happy New
Oh,
Year.
we
Yeah.
Happy New
dropped.
So
Year.
So, Reg, what was your point? You were finishing your point.
yeah. Yeah. There was a point where, and I'll probably repeat it for Thurston.
Mm-hmm.
Where God had to speak to me. I don't know where I was. I don't know where I was, and it wasn't too long ago. It was like maybe a week ago,
Mm-hmm.
where I realized God was saying to me, "Hey, you need your. It's okay. It's okay to it's okay to be still. Pretty
Yeah.
much. It's okay to stop, breathe, cry,
Mm,
vent." So I'm taking a trip. I wanted more. I didn't want to do anything this year without my wife. Like that's one of the things that we said. We didn't want to do, but she just got a new position and couldn't get the time off. But she encouraged me to go anyway.
Okay.
okay.
So I'm taking a trip and just to be be still.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Got so. Okay. One one thing is, you mentioned Mo's new position. Erica told me about it. She saw it. She's excited about it. She's
yeah.
excited for Mo about that too, man. That's awesome. And so I was moving my computer to get a better connection because we were in and
Sound
out.
good. Sound good.
All
Yep.
right, you can hear me now? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good, 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 good. And so, Reg, I thought about you because like you said, I told you maybe a week, 2 weeks ago, Erica and I also planned a trip just to get away because so many things were coming at us at one time, right? And so that was how we were looking to plan. And then soon as we did that, got back home, we were hit
Yeah.
again right after that, right? And so we're thrown right back into it. I'm trying to throw myself back into work because I'm doing a transition now, moving into my own office for my personal practice, for my private practice. And so I had a lot of stuff to do and couldn't just let it all fall, but still had to continue to prepare,
Yeah.
be there for her and stuff like that. So it's very difficult to handle that. But somehow we make a way and we get it done. Ernesto, how about you, man? How do you deal with loss? Like, have you dealt with um really serious personal and close loss in your lifetime?
Check. Check. Check.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, I have. I think 2002. I within 6 months I lost my grandmother and my mother,
Oof.
and that was 50% of the household. And it was me and
Wow.
my little brother. You know, and then in 2014, my dad had a brain hemorrhage, and then we had to make the decision on whether or not we were going to pull the plug.
Oh, wait.
Uh,
Okay. I want to pause you for 1 second, Ernesto, because
yeah, I'm
you
good.
said you said when your grandmother and grandfather passed, that was
Grandmother and mother.
grandmother and mother. That was 50% of the household. The only ones left
That
was
is
you and your
correct.
brother. So they
Yeah.
were your primary caregivers.
Huh?
How they were your primary caregivers, right? How
No,
old were
I
they?
was grown at
Okay.
that point.
Okay.
I was helping support the family.
Got
Yeah.
you. Got you. Got you.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. There's a lot of I think a lot of your viewers are very familiar with my situation back then.
Okay. Got you. And
Yeah.
so, and then and were you the one that was in charge of making that decision as to taking your dad off of the?
It was the group with the
Okay.
family with his other children.
Okay. Got
Yeah. Yeah. And then and not to mention loss comes in different forms, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So there were miscarriages in the past,
Oof.
and yeah, so yeah, I understand loss.
And now, do you?
Felt like I read my resume.
but but do you have a framework or an approach now to how? Not that we're looking forward to loss, but if we know loss is coming, like, do you have a framework of how you deal with it, like personally?
No, I notice a pattern that I have though.
Okay.
Um, my pattern is the caretaker role.
Uh huh. Mm-hmm.
So when my brother passed, I mean when my God forbid, when my mother passed,
Right.
when my grandmother passed, my mother was fighting cancer. And I had my little brother was like 11. So I was focusing on them.
Gotcha.
And then 6 months later, when my mother passed, I was focusing on my brother.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
So she passed away in July, and then I didn't shed a tear until December.
Right. Right.
But it didn't come and I didn't force it. I was very patient with myself. And I think that's a really key area. You have to be really patient with yourself. And not only are we mourn differently, but who we mourn for, depending on the relationship, is also different.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and you just have to go by that. Honoring the person, talking, and like Reggie said, and you know very well, Thurston, it'll come out of nowhere.
Right.
You don't know what triggers you, a song, her favorite show,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, I can't tell you how many times I I was gonna pick up the phone because I saw something on television. I heard a song. I was gonna call my mom.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah, man.
you know,
Yes. Yeah. It's funny. You said something that really hit me because I am not really an overly emotional person in those times.
right,
I start to think internally, is there something wrong? Is there something wrong with me? Am I not feeling what I'm supposed to feel? But like you just explained, and I know this internally, but sometimes our internal thoughts, like, first of all, am I processing this correctly? And is there something wrong with me that I'm not feeling the emotion that the other people around me feel? Now, I'll tell you the most recent loss that we're dealing with. My sister-in-law, who was like another mother to Erica and embraced me from the first moment that I met her, like just loved me similar to the way that my biological sisters loved me, right? This was tough. just as tough as my other biological sister, Sandy, who I was very close to. This one was rough, man. And I mean, she was just a beautiful person. And to lose her is a huge hit to the family, but even to me personally, like helping to design the program and stuff like that and seeing the pictures over and over. It's rough. And Reg, um when you say that you cleaned out your mom's space by yourself, bro, that's tough. That takes some really tough skin to go through that. But was it therapeutic for you? Would you describe it as therapeutic for you, Reg?
Man, I would have never thought of that word,
Uh-huh.
but it probably was.
Right.
I slept at her place.
Really?
It was hard, but I slept
Ooh.
there.
Mm.
Um, I went through hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of photos
Oh
that
my,
I didn't know she had.
wow.
And I came home. When I came home, I scanned every single one of them
Oh my Lord.
just to have it with me.
So
I
you'll
have,
never lose them.
I'll never lose them. I have them on like three different hard drives because hard drives crash.
Right?
I had the hard drives crash before where I had all of my old BC pictures, right?
Mm. Wow.
Um, so I would say yes. I think it was therapeutic. At the same time, it was painful. Um, but I just wanted to do it by myself, and it wasn't hard. I took my time. I love what Ernesto said, that you have to be patient with yourself. I didn't rush. you know
Okay.
my wife was concerned. She wanted to help. I didn't even want her help. Because again, she was dealing with preparing for her father,
Right.
and I wanted to give her that space, and I wanted to go through what I wanted to go through what I needed to go through to be available emotionally for her, because I know there was going to be a time when we both are going to go through together.
Right.
There's times when we sit together in the living room and we're both having awkward moments because she's probably, thinking about some things. I'm thinking about some things. And here's the thing, too. I have to say this, right? As much as you lean into the support and the love, man, there's still going to be some moments that you have to go through by yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's unexplainable to there's times when I'm sitting and my thoughts are all over the place and I can't explain
Mm-hmm.
because of the intimacy of my relationship with my mom. There's certain things that are just between me and her. And I sit there and I just relish in it. And it's painful, but it's allowed. It's
Right.
necessary.
That's good.
So I agree with Ernesto. Like the grieving, everybody grieves differently.
Right.
I've received the most beautiful statements from people who have, a strange thing. I don't want to use the word strange, but
Mm-hmm.
what's happened too is I remember there was a week or 2 weeks where I was thinking about every single person who I knew who had lost their mom.
Mm. Wow.
Right? Um, I thought about Ernesto's dad because I had a good relationship with him and his mom.
Mm.
Me and Ernesto was close for a lot of years, and I
Okay.
had the privilege of knowing his mom. His mom was hilarious, right? I could hear her voice,
Mm.
everything. She could cook,
Oh
right?
wow.
Oh my goodness, it was like Thanksgiving at Ernesto's house. Literally, it was always like Thanksgiving. It wasn't like come and get a plate. It was like come and get some plates. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Um, but she came to my heart. His father came to my heart. A lot of moms of homegoing services that I did came to my mind. So I started to kind of like, uh, um, I don't know what the word is. I started to relate to the pain of those people who lost their moms,
Right.
and I didn't know if that was normal, right? I didn't know, and I had called somebody and said, "Hey, is this normal?" Because I can't get
Right.
other people's moms out of my heart,
Right.
which is not a bad thing.
No, not a bad thing at all.
But the most beautiful things that I've been receiving from people, it sounds painful, but they're saying, "Hey, I lost my mom 20 years ago, 30 years ago. I still think about her. It's still painful. I still think
Mhm.
about her on her birthday." So it's not strange if you're gonna go through it years from now. Don't think it's strange. It's not something that you can ever get over because you don't get another mother. This was it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
Right.
so that's been helpful. Like, you know, you're right. It's okay. if the pain comes. I'm gonna be 60. And as a man, you think you should be over certain things, you
Yeah.
know?
Yep.
And man, you love who you love. You know, the
Right.
relationship is what the relationship was. And um it's not, there's nothing wrong with that grief going into your going into your years as a part of your walk, as a part of you remembering.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So and I'll say this one last thing. Um there's some trauma attached to it too, because I just recently went to the hospital to visit somebody who just gotten some ill, and they called me and said, Rich, can you come and see me? And I went. And as I was walking through the halls of the hospital, I could hear people screaming in pain.
Mm.
And it brought back what my mom went through the last few weeks of her life. That was a little traumatic for me. And I didn't expect that. I really didn't expect it. I got a little overwhelmed. And I went to see my friend and I said, hey, I'll be right back. And I went outside just to get myself together. So there's some trauma because there's two memories that you gotta wrestle with. The beautiful memories, but then the painful ones, you know.
Right.
Ernesto, forgive me, because I remember what your mom was going through. I remember the pain that she was experiencing. That came to my heart. You know what I mean? And now I can relate to how difficult that may have been to go home when everything is said and done, and it's just you and your mom, and you have to deal with that part. How do you help? How do you comfort? How do you and you absolutely feel helpless?
You feel helpless. Right.
So that's a part of it. It's brought a new level of compassion. I've always had compassion for people who have to help people who's going through, but it's brought a whole nother world of understanding to me. So not just patience with yourself, but patience with other people who grieve differently than you.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
That's extremely important because I think we may approach these things like if they don't grieve like I do, they're not really grieving or they're not processing or whatever, right? And understanding that everyone grieves differently, the
and
time
all grieving don't mean crying, right?
exactly, and I think that's what society thinks,
Yeah.
and and a lot of people may take that on as if you're not really processing it the right way, right? But what is the right way? Like the right way for me may not be the right way for you, and this is the thing that I think is so vitally important. Um, is that so? I remember when your situation first happened, right? And of course, we've talked about this. We have uh a chat, we have a stream, a chat with all the brothers on it, right? And we'll reach out. And so we reached out to send prayers and stuff, but I feel like then we let you know that we knew and that we were thinking of you, but then we gave you your space, right? We didn't try to bombard you, right? And give you your time to grieve and knowing that when you're ready, you're going to come back, you're going to reach out and let us know, but it's a process. It's so good to have people around you like that is going to let you know that they got you, they're thinking of you, they're praying for you, sending food, sending whatever, right? Letting you know that you're on their mind, but still allowing you the room to grieve and go through the process. That's vitally important. I've We've gotten so many messages, online, text, and stuff coming to the house. Even that can be overwhelming because those things are reminders of what you're going through. But I think it's very much needed. Very much needed.
There's with you saying that, there's a statement that just popped into my head. There's no point. Yeah, I could say this. There's no point through the process that I felt alone.
Mm,
But there's times when I felt lonely,
lonely.
right? Like I knew people were praying for me. I can't say, God, I feel, like nobody's there. That's not true. That's not
Right.
my testimony. I
Right.
had people calling me, texting me, loving me, and Mo. Um, so I felt that even when people, I'm not that kind of person where, like, if you don't call me, I don't feel it. Like, I'm not that dude.
Right.
I, I know who my friends are. I know who's literally praying. Like I know Ernesto was praying for me. I know you
Right.
were praying.
Right.
Like we didn't talk so much throughout the whole thing, but
Yep.
you know who your family network is.
Right.
And I learned this one last thing too, just to be transparent. I learned through this process that not all family is blood.
So that Reg, that's a whole nother show, bro.
I know, yes.
That's I'm like you touched on that earlier, and so I mean, I definitely don't want to get into a place where we're sort of throwing people under the bus,
No, yeah, I
but
wouldn't do that.
I
Yeah.
know you wouldn't do that, but not all people show up the way that you expect them to show up, and um this is not about having this expectancy that everybody's going to be perfect, right? Some people, the way they deal with grief is so vastly different from what we may consider the proper way to deal with it, that it comes off as they're distant or they're not caring, but it actually may be really really tough for them to show up for anybody else because they're dealing with it in their own way. You know what I mean? And so, how family shows up, it takes on different forms. And we have to I try to be a person that gives grace as much as possible. But then some stuff is just straight up wrong, right? And so how do you manage that and deal with that? Randy, how you doing, bro?
Okay, man. Good to see your brothers, man.
It's good
What's
to
up,
see your
Randy?
face,
Reggie, how you
man.
doing,
You
sir?
down
Happy New
there.
Year, brother.
The same to
Happy
you,
New
sir.
Yeah,
Year.
What's up? This is your
Happy New
guy.
Year. You down there in Florida enjoying the sun and everything. You have you heard what we're sort of talking about tonight?
Well, I see the title says about grief. Yeah,
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 yeah. I
dealing with
understand.
loss and grief. I'm gonna ask you the
How's
same
Erica
question.
doing anyway, by
But
the way?
yeah, thank you. Thank you. Listen, I'm gonna say she's doing well. I think she's been processing this as well as she can. And uh, trying to be as supportive as possible. And I shared this with the guys earlier, right? I am very, very close with Erica's family. Like they're my in-laws, but they're my family, right? And
Right.
so when she loses a brother, I lose a brother. She loses a sister, I lose a sister. And especially Barbara, who we just lost, we were so close and she loved me so much. I loved her so much. It's very hard. And so supporting Erica, I will say I think, and I shared this with Erica the other day, I think the way she's processing is really good for her. Like you said, Reggie, she's had those moments, and not to tell her full story, but she's had moments when it hits her at random driving the car. She tells this funny story about she went to get coffee and a bagel, and she's in the car crying, trying to eat a bagel, and she's laughing at herself, right? Because, but Randy, she's doing well, and we're preparing to go down later this week to do the services and stuff. But I appreciate that. But so, Randy, how do you deal with loss and grief? Like, do you keep it in? Do you let it out? Are you a crier? Are you what? What do you do?
Um, I think for myself, I'm not a person that that fall apart when I
Okay.
hear stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
But there's no real way that I learned to deal with grief.
Right.
There's no blueprint, there's no map.
Right.
I think that in the Jewish culture, they have what they call a civil, that they give you 7 days or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then you do it those 7 days, and then you get your butt up and get back to doing what you got to do.
Get back to life, right?
You get back to life because it's you continue living. It's not that you're not going to miss them.
Right.
You're not going to hurt, but life goes on, and so you should not, or you try not to get grounded in it.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
it's like they die, you die.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You
Yep.
got to keep on moving. So you go through that period and you go through that time, And like I said, some people, there had been times, man, at that, when my mom's passed, I would not have cried and break up and go
Mm.
all out and all that kind of stuff. But there had been times that I'd be driving home, and then all of a sudden tears just
Yep.
because of some memory or something that just came up,
Right. Right.
And there would be times that you would think about these persons and stuff like that. But you keep moving. You
Right.
understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And so for me, like I said, there's no real blueprint on how people handle grief.
Right.
Sometimes, you just don't have words to say,
Right.
right?
Right.
And then sometimes it's just good that you don't have to say nothing. You can just go and sit next to a person and just let you know that, because your presence is there.
Right.
I don't have really nothing to say, but because your presence
You
is
know,
just there, I'm
sometimes
just there with you. I just want you to know I'm there with you, man. And that can be just enough,
Right.
because we're always trying to search the right words or trying to come up with the right thing to say, and sometimes we just don't have the words, to say. But sometimes they don't really need you
Need
to
the
say
word.
anything.
Right. Right.
Like when you've been in God for so long. I mean, there ain't no scriptures that they
Right.
don't know. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And
Right.
you trying to come up with the right words, and it's not like you don't know. And
You
and and
know the
and, and,
word.
and
Right.
I remember, and I was watching the movie, the television season's Chosen. I always talk about
Yeah.
that, right?
Uh-huh.
So one of the guys who was his girl that he wanted to marry got killed, and so now Jesus is standing there. And he's pleading with Jesus, you can bring life
You
back
can
into her.
save her.
I know
Right.
you can do
Mhm.
it. And
Yep.
Jesus, like, looking like, it's not the Father's will.
Ooh.
So he's going through all these emotions, and you can really feel it. And so then Peter, who also in the series lost a child, because he had to go through this thing.
Right.
So he's talking to Jesus, and Jesus telling him, he just got elevated to becoming a rock. So he
Right.
got this understanding that I'm the rock, and he's like,
Right.
I'm failing. And Jesus like, failing at what?
Mm.
What I'm supposed to be now, the rock. He
Wow.
said, he said that, well, he don't need that now.
Mm.
He said that, but you have experienced grief. So maybe you don't need to say nothing, just be with them,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
you
Right.
know,
Yeah.
and just to show that encouragement that, brother, I'm with you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, dealing with when it comes down to the pain of it, because we know we all going to experience it one way or another.
Yep. If you keep living, you're
You
gonna
know what I'm
experience it.
saying? The
Yep.
only pain is that you're not going to experience the one that when you leave here, you ain't going to know it.
Right. Right. Right.
But
And
this
so,
is this is the road that we must go through, and what God is going to help us with, and stuff.
yeah.
So you learn to deal with it differently,
Right.
and dealing with grief of a person with it's like the unexpected and expected,
Mm-hmm.
and unexpected is much different than the expected,
Yeah.
especially when a person is sick, and sometimes they going through the pain, and sometimes you like to the point where you like saying, God, okay, now you ain't
Go
not
ahead
going
and
to
take
raise
them.
them
And
up,
yep. Yep.
then
If you're
take
not
them
gonna
home.
raise them up, right.
I'm praying, if you're not going to raise them up, then take them home. Don't let them suffer in this. But you can expect that, because they're going to go that way. But it's different from the unexpected,
And
when it automatically hits you, and like
Randy,
catch you off guard.
we had to deal with both of those in a matter of 3 weeks, right? Since the day after Thanksgiving, a sudden loss of a brother, and then her sister had been sick. Our sister had been sick, and we lost her, right?
Hmm.
And so we had to deal with both of those dynamics.
Right.
But listen, I want to make sure you get a chance to dive in. I know I saw you there, and sort of talk about how you have dealt with grief. How do you deal with grief today? Like, how do you deal with loss, man?
Um, it varies for me.
Okay.
Um, for me, like a lot of you guys were saying, it pops up randomly,
Mm-hmm.
like especially like and I even hear you guys talk. I was like, "Dang, I lost quite a few of course people through the years that you just navigate to because you get accustomed to. You get accustomed to losing them, and then you just like you just go, you just deal with
Keep
it.
moving. Right.
And the last person, like my grandfather, that was really really tough because it was it wasn't really expected that he would go so quick because he was especially was the caretaker to my grandmother.
Okay.
So and I mean, not to get in our head, we assume who would go first as
Yep.
human, and we didn't assume it would be him.
Mm,
So and then the timing, like so, a year, literally a year, maybe 2 days apart, but the same month, my grandfather and my uncle passed away.
Wow.
mm,
So it was like my grandfather was grieving hard with having heart issues, right? And then all of a sudden, that same period of that same time in next year, he passes away.
Wow.
So it's like it's tough because you're dealing with your own, then you got to deal with everybody else's.
Right.
Because it's like now I got to try to be there for my grandmother because he was her caretaker. So then now I'm taking on her burden because then now you're watching her fight, like literally, like she would have what do you call, like a it's like them balls. What do you call it? The that you
Stress
squeeze when
balls.
the stress ball.
Uh-huh.
And then you sit in there, you gotta watch her, and you just see her just squeezing the ball, sitting in his chair, going through it. So then
Wow.
that's another burden on top of your own grievance. So
Right.
it's like, and like Reggie said, you do have to take that moment to step away to like get it together because it's like, how do you be there for someone else when it's like you don't even know how to be there for yourself?
Right.
Type
Right.
of thing,
Yeah.
and have had the moments to do so. And I think it's hard for people, like at least the close family members, to do that because they have to make sure she's good, don't pass away from a broken heart because everything she did, it was nothing without him. 50 years of marriage,
mm.
like everything, whether they argued or not,
That
like
person is a part of you.
everything,
At that
that's
point,
a
that
part,
person is a part of
a
you.
part,
I know
literally
we
a
talk
part of her.
about you married and you're one flesh. Yeah, that's cool
Yeah.
first couple of years and stuff. But after
Hmm.
50, 60 years, bro,
50 years,
that's like losing a part of you.
a part, it
Do,
literally is a part of her. Yeah.
Wow.
do you remember? You guys know Edwin Lewis Cole.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Yep.
I'll never forget when I think the last time that I heard him speak at the church.
Yep.
He had just lost his wife,
Nancy.
Mm,
Hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
and you could tell he was having a difficult time with that. And then maybe some months later, he passed.
Yep.
Now I have a friend of mine who used to go away on vacation, and he used to always ask me if I would come to his house and take care of his birds. He had a massive bird collection in his house,
Okay.
mhm,
right? I was like, for real, you know. He had parrots, he had all kind of birds, and one day he decided to give me a gift of two finches,
Mm.
two small birds, one male, one female. The only way to keep them quiet, because they would sing all the time, chirp all the time,
mm,
was I had to put the cover over the cage so that they would sleep.
Okay.
Because they would, like if I'm home and have the lights on, they think it's daytime, they're up. So I
Right.
would put
mhm,
right. I remember one day, I was taking care of them, and I noticed I only heard one chirping sound. I had the cover on, but I kept hearing a chirping sound. I'm like, why is the chirping happening? Because the blanket is on the cage,
Mm.
but why I only hear one bird chirping?
mm,
So when I removed the cover, the other bird had died.
mm,
And then a few days later, the other one died. So I called
mhm,
my friend. I said, "Hey, both the finches died." And he said, "Yeah, the second one died of heartbreak."
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
mm,
And
Wow.
it made me think because they only knew they had each other.
They had
mhm.
each other. Right.
So Ray, when you speak about your grandparents, it
Yeah.
is hard. Like you're right. After 50 years, Whatever seasons you've gone through,
Yep.
Yeah.
and you don't become one, you are one, right?
Yeah, you
Right.
are one. Yep.
Right.
You know, and
Exactly.
so when that person leaves, man,
It's
it is literally,
weird.
yeah,
So
your
weird.
heart, yeah.
Hmm. And
You
then
know,
the house too. The house, the like going there, like the holidays. It's very because even these like it's been going on 2 years, but it's been the last two holidays has been the first one was really rough.
Mm.
But even the second one, it's like still rough because even like, and I'll go there and sit with her because I know she's getting ready, especially if somebody brings up his name, which I'm like, Jesus, don't bring up his name.
Right.
like, like she's doing good. And I saw her, she was doing good. And somebody said, oh, he liked this piece of like food. And she's like, yeah. And then as we go pray for the food, I see her like shuffling, and I'm like, oh, okay, let me take her to the side.
She's feeling it.
So
Yeah.
yeah, she's feeling it like she couldn't, So it's just like, we getting, get accustomed to our new norm, which
Right.
is heavy, having a moment of sadness
Right.
in the holidays because he's not here. Like he was the guy that was at everybody's funeral, which is
Mm.
crazy.
Wow.
He
right.
everybody's funeral. He was responsible for me and my father having our good relationship.
Really.
Yeah, he got to a place to recognize that, and it even made me that grievance even pushed me to live life more and then to pay attention to me, because my grandfather was that person where he recognized because of the grievances he was dealing with, was like, especially when my uncle passed away from overdose, it was just like, I wasn't, and he used to always say to me, because when me and my father were clash, he said, give him a chance because I didn't teach him how to be a father. I
Wow.
just provide.
Ray,
Wow.
can I say something about that? Because this was
Mm.
on my mind. Thank you for sharing. That's so
Hmm.
beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for
Hmm.
sharing that. Just popped into my mind, and I was processing if it makes
Hmm.
sense. But you just said it.
Hmm.
So I was asking God, how do I say this? And I don't want to sound like I'm trying to preach or I'm trying
Hmm.
to drop a dope. This
Hmm.
is really literally how I think,
Right.
right?
Hmm.
That all grief should lead to growth,
Mm.
Hmm.
right?
Mm.
Hmm.
All grief should lead to growth.
Wow.
Part of grieving, at least what I've been experiencing,
Hmm.
part of grieving has been to reconcile. So for your grandfather to say, I didn't teach him, that's him reconciling something that he dropped. Like, and he acknowledges that now and he grew from it. And
That's
now
right.
he's and now he's passing that growth on to you.
Mm.
Hmm.
Right. So
Hmm.
grief should lead to that. It's
Wow.
okay to
Hmm.
grieve, but part of grieving, I think, is reconciling, which is a big word for me right
Reconciling.
now.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Is going back
Yeah.
and saying, okay, I could do this better. That
Mm.
I could do family better. I could do making calls
Hmm.
better. I can
Mhm.
forgive more quicker, right?
Right.
Hmm.
Um, so I believe because Ray, you said it, and thank you for sharing that. Like all grief should,
To
I
make you
don't think it
grow.
always does,
Yeah.
but it should
Right.
lead to growth, you
And
know?
so this is and Randy, I'm coming to you because you were about to say something. But Reggie, as you share that, my mind automatically goes to these young people that you are mentoring, that you're in charge of, that you work with, right? The fact that even if that's not something you share on a regular basis, and I know how your rehearsals or practices are. They really are just growth sessions. I see how you operate with them, right? And so the fact that you'll be passing this on to them at a young age, because a lot of this stuff we learn once we're in our 30s, 40s, 50s, right? If they can learn that in their teens, in their early 20s, right? It just sets them up for a much better life experience. And so I get excited when I hear you say that stuff because I know whatever you're sharing here, I know you're sharing with the young people. I know you are. Randy,
Thirst.
yeah, uh-huh,
Before you go to Randy, let me
uh-huh.
just drop this. Let me just drop this. The first time I talked about grief and loss was in kindergarten with kindergarten students.
Wow.
And
Wow.
I wasn't prepared. It was when Rodney Greer passed away. You guys know Rodney Greer.
Hmm.
Right.
When he passed away, it was very hard um, for a lot of people, including Mrs. Greer. And while she was out, I was, you know, taking over running operations at the school. And one of the things was to have the conversation with the kids. I didn't know how to have the conversations of why he wasn't here anymore.
Right.
So I remember the Lord said, watch Lion King with them. And I sat
Mm.
down and I watched Lion King. And as I'm watching Lion King, I'm writing down a lesson plan.
Mhm.
And I began to talk to them about the circle of life, what that really means. Right.
Mhm.
So I think that also prepared me to be, like we want to be honest, but you have to be age appropriate, of
Yep.
course,
Yeah.
Yep.
but
Yep.
you shouldn't lie. Because I remember when the first time I went to a service when I was a kid, nobody told me what that was. Nobody explained it to me. I was very confused. I just see a body in a box,
Right.
but nobody took the time to tell me where I was going, why I was doing there. That person wasn't coming back. So I had no idea. And so I'll say like, you're right. Like I share with the kids, not like explicitly, like just through life lessons. Things come up and we talk about it, and I'll
Right.
share it, and I'll say
Right.
it's okay,
Yeah.
because I had young people who lost their parents, but they would still come to they. You know what's beautiful about young people? Ray was a part of that. Ray wasn't specifically under me, but I spent a lot of time with Ray, so
Right.
I'm so happy he's here. But one of the things that's resilient about young people is that when they recognize you're in pain, they also understand how to give you space.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
more so than anything, they also understand how to let you be where you are. I had a young man that lost his dad. It was a hard loss. He was close to his father, but he never stopped coming to rehearsal. And there's times when he would just sit there, he wouldn't say anything. He would complain about stomach pain, but the kids let him be who he was,
Hmm.
which is
Yep.
why I believe he kept coming, because again he was going through something very lonely, but he wasn't alone. I think he understood that, and so
Mhm.
he kept coming back. So I think the atmosphere that we're provided for when we're grieving is also key, and how we share it with whatever age. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's hard. I know. I didn't know how to do it, but God spoke to me and said, "Hey, just watch Lion King." Right? I was like,
Uh-huh.
"Yeah, for real, Lord." And it was a great experience, and I think I still have that lesson plan somewhere. But yeah, I just wanted to share that.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome, Reg. I appreciate that. Randy, I'm coming to you, and I'm gonna come back to something you said, Reg. But Randy, do you remember what you were about to share earlier?
Yeah, I would just say because I want to just go back when you was talking about being together for so many years and being close.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever noticed that when you have people that's like really close, like they married, been close, that they almost look alike?
Oh, absolutely,
Mhm.
absolutely. They start to look alike.
They look like
Absolutely.
brothers and sisters. It's like over the years, like it's like I see you in them. You see, you look at them,
Right. Right.
like I mean, and that's just that oneness that they have come to,
Oh
join
yeah.
together. That they don't even look like they was when they first met up,
Mhm.
but
But
all
you
of a
know what
sudden
that
they
is,
look like each
Randy?
other.
You know what that is? I think it's more psychological than anything. You know why? It's the way that they act more
Mhm.
so than the way that they look, right?
Mm-hmm.
If
Mhm.
that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
You could be with somebody so long that now you kind of like you act the same, right? So now you
Right.
can't
Mhm.
tell who said what. They start to adapt the same thought process because they've been, they talk like me and Mo, we've been together 13 years. So we're still wet under our noses in terms of
Uh-huh.
like the years, but we're learning, we kind of speak the same language. We still have our different ways that we express things, but we're coming to a place where there's so much similarities now. When you first meet someone, you love each other because of the differences, right?
Hmm.
You're so
Right.
different, but then the more
Right.
you are together, the more you become more
Sort of
similar.
morph. You're
Yeah.
more right.
So I
Right.
agree. I would say sometimes it's not the look, because thank God, I don't think I look like my wife.
But it's so
I wish
funny.
I did. She's beautiful. I
That's
don't think I'm there
funny.
yet.
That's hilarious, bro. That's hilarious. You wake up one morning and look at Mo and she looks just like you're looking in the mirror, like, wait. I love
Yeah,
it.
but, this,
I love it.
but there is a
But
lot of similarities that
yeah,
you learn and
Yeah.
stuff.
yeah.
You
Yes,
start feeding off of one another.
Language,
yes.
everything.
And
Absolutely.
Body
it's just
language.
you just begin to grow. I mean, it's like it's unbelievable, man. It's just the way that I guess how things just evolve around.
Yeah,
You start
yeah,
evolving around one another, and and just learning how to deal with situations and stuff like that. And then
yeah.
you do have this thing where people break through, like those birds.
Mm-hmm.
People just die because of heartbreak.
They can't do it
I
without
just
the help.
cannot.
Yeah.
I just cannot. You want to, but I just cannot cope.
And
I
the funny
cannot
thing is, it's not
live.
like they're taking their life. It's just like it's almost like the life just leaves them. It's like the
It's
body.
like you are their life,
Right.
and they become your life. You know what I'm
Yes.
Mhm.
saying? And
Yes.
so, like,
Absolutely.
now I gotta learn how to do all this all over again, and I don't want to.
Right. I don't.
I don't see the point of
Yeah.
living anymore if
Yeah.
she's not in my world or
Right.
he's not in my world.
Right. Listen.
And
Uh,
learning how to navigate that, Randy, is so important. I'm glad you said that because for people who are like in their 80s and 90s, how do you start over? Like if you've been married 50, 60 years, right? And with that being said, like I'm thinking about what Ray said about his like not mention, like when you mention your grandfather's name and oh, you gotta watch your grandmother now, right? Like I think sometimes we have to adapt to letting them be where they are now. This is a
right.
decision that they made, right? As
Mhm.
opposed to I'm speaking to a mother now who's still young. She lost her husband, and I'm telling her, no, you need to live,
Right.
right?
Right.
You still have a lot to give. You go out, have some fun, go out with your friends. Your life ain't over. I don't believe, because I knew her husband, I don't believe he would want you to give up. I don't believe that he would want you to stop living. So learning how to deal with people in whatever season they are in their life as it pertains to age, right?
Mhm.
Is also kind of important. Like how do
100%.
you know to say, hey, let me just accept that this is where this person is, as opposed to, nah, I don't want this person to accept that because
Right.
that, you know what I'm saying? Like learning how to differentiate between the
Right.
two
And try
is
to
important.
drag them along into what you think is best for them or what they should be doing,
Yeah.
how they
And
should
at the same
respond.
time to be patient because they
And
may not be ready and
they may not be ready.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's
yeah.
why family is so important sometimes, especially if they have grandkids and you're trying to, you
Yep.
know, keep their mind occupied,
Right.
from
Right.
just being
Right.
sitting idle. They just sitting there and they just being idle and you got nothing going on. So you try to keep them. And sometimes, you do have family members that are great, and then you have the other side,
Yep. You have some that are
and
jerks. Like
so
bottom line.
and just coming together, and you often hear people say, man, we need to have more reunions, not wait until somebody died.
Guys.
you
Yep.
know this is when we all come together. I haven't spoken to you in years, but this is the time that we need to come together more and more and more. But it never really ever happens until somebody pass on.
And
But it's
so it.
always good to
Yeah.
make sure you do, like you say, that self check in every now and then, just
You
to
have to
call
be in.
somebody.
You got
Just
to be intentional about
especially
it,
if you
bro.
feel that God has dropped something or a person in your heart,
Yeah.
just to check in on.
Yeah.
Just go down a list and just leave a
So
note or whatever, and
so
just to
this,
check.
this is the funny thing to me. And listen, I know we have to wrap up. But I want to sort of set the stage for our next conversation. But along the lines of what you were saying, Randy, like so y'all hear me talk about growing up in a house with six older sisters, right? You hear me talk about that all the time and how much I love my sisters and how much they love me. And I think what get lost in that conversation is I also have brothers. I had two brothers, and one passed away, but I also have another brother. We're very similar. We sound a lot alike. We look a lot alike. And so me and my brother sort of have this relationship where we may not talk to each other for a long time, but when we do talk to each other, it's like right back to where we were, right? Great relationship. I know he loves me. I love him. But Erica has been on this thing about being intentional about experiences and connecting and stuff. And she was the one like, "Oh, we need to plan for a trip down to Virginia." I don't know what that sound is that I'm hearing. Hold on one
I
second.
think it might be coming from Ray's mic.
Oh, it may be. It may be.
I don't
Okay.
know.
And so we did. We and actually, Reg, me and you talked a couple of weeks ago, we were down there. We were down there with my
Yeah,
brother,
I remember. Yeah.
and we had such a great time, man. It felt good to be intentional about it. So we went down. Not only did I see my brother and his wife Desiree, but all of his children and grandchildren and great grandchildren live close to him. So we went fishing together. We went and had dinner together at his son and his son's wife's house. It was so great to be intentional about sharing that time. And this is what I want us to think about. I think it's important that we share with those that may be listening now, that may listen later, or may see some of the clips. There are a lot of people that don't have connection with anybody. There are a lot of men that are living isolated lives, right? And even sometime in community, we can still live isolated lives because we share surface stuff, but we don't share our heart. We don't share that real serious stuff. Now, we get on here, we go live, and we share very, very personal stuff, right? And we don't have a problem with that. But there are some men that never ever that have never ever shared that. So how do we encourage it? How do we create spaces for them? How do we uh, allow for them to share without being without feeling like they're going to be judged, or they're not real, like you talked about. Society may have grew up in a household where men don't cry, shut up, suck it up, tough it out, and they live with that all their lives, and now they're in their 40s and 50s, and they've missed out on a lot of life because they've been keeping things in. Thinking about how can we encourage men to open up, to share, to be more vulnerable. I don't know. We can share a little bit now, and then we'll come back in the next couple of weeks and talk about it. Anybody could dive in.
Well, for me, I think like being a part of a show like this
Mm-hmm.
would help, because when you hear stories like people going into AAA meetings and drug
Uh-huh.
meetings, and you going there for the first time, and you sitting there and you got all these strangers and nobody wants to talk.
Right. Yep.
And they try to get you to say something, and you just give them your name, but you don't want to say anything.
Right.
But the more you attend,
Because when
and you start seeing more and more people starting to share, it kind of like breaks that that fear in a
Yep.
way, to get you to maybe open up. So you might have that person like yourself. So to say, Minister Reggie, Reggie, you got anything to say? And you say, nah, man, I ain't got nothing to say.
Right.
And
Right.
then the next time around, you go back around, you're like, nah, man, and it's like, and I hate to use this, but I remember one time, I never was into drugs. Never
Uh-huh.
did anything, and I was into drinking. But I used to hang out with these guys. They was all musicians, and they knew I didn't. But they kept on passing the puff around.
Uh-huh.
They kept passing it around to me, and I got, nah, man. And then they do it again. Then they come back around to me, and I'm like, nah, man. And then finally, I said, let me get in on it. And so I tried it, because it's like enticing temptation just constantly keep drawing you in,
Yes,
Uh-huh.
you
sir.
in.
Yep.
And so I finally did it, and I didn't like the way it made me feel, because it's made my equilibrium be off, like
Right.
my reflexes and all this kind of stuff. So I didn't like the way it made me feel. So I never went back into all that kind of stuff. But then I also understand, like in this same type of ring, when you have people and guys are in, you got to, like you said, some guys, they got that macho thing. Men don't cry. I said, well, you
Right.
can't be no more men than Jesus. And he did.
Right. Right.
So you can't be no more man than him. And he cries. So I don't know where you got that from. But you get this type of thing because of the way that they teach. But once you start to tear it down, tear the walls down a little bit, and they're able to see, okay, you will get them to start to relax more.
Right.
That's my thinking of it.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I would say real quickly, man, what I've learned is, man, to one of the first things I learned when I became saved, when I gave my life to Christ and I was going to church and I didn't know anybody, I ran into a scripture that says, I think it's in Proverbs. Um, I can't remember how exactly it reads, but it's basically say, he that shows himself, he that shows himself friendly will have friends, something
Uh-huh.
like that, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Must first show
and I
themselves.
remember, so say again.
I said must first show themselves friendly.
Yes, yeah,
Mhm.
right.
Yep.
So that meant that I had to step out of my comfort zone.
Right.
So I
Right.
want to say to the brothers, I want to say to the men out there, man, like, yo, we're gonna go through some stuff as men, and we were taught to deal with it differently, man. But every one of us, we can't. Pastor Bernard says it all the time. We can't grow in isolation.
Right.
We can't overcome everything by ourselves. It's okay to talk to another brother. It's okay to talk to a family member who you may be close to. It's okay to be vulnerable. You
Right.
can't be vulnerable with everybody, but I believe that God can give you a a safe place to someone you can talk to and just and they receive and crying doesn't make you no less a man.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I would speak to those men. Like you don't have to be on a show like this. It doesn't have to be publicized or anything. We all of us have a relationship for years and years, so it's easy for us to come on here and share and
Right.
because I wouldn't jump on any other man's show like this that I
Yeah.
don't have
Yeah.
as intimate a relationship I have with you brothers,
Right. Right.
right? So we're very selective,
Uh-huh.
right? We're very selective, but I would encourage men our age and older, because we come up in that period of time where, like you said, shut up, man up,
Right.
Mhm.
right? Man up means a whole lot different to me today,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and so I would say lean into who you believe will let you be who you are when you need to
Mm,
be, you know. That's it. Yeah.
I love
You
it.
know.
I love it. Ernesto, how about you, bro?
Yeah, that part, everything Red said.
Right.
I think men have an issue because you pay a price to be vulnerable,
Right.
and it's a pretty steep price.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they do keep it close, and it's internalized it, or you're allowed to be aggressive or angry. And you've dealt, all of you
Yep.
here have dealt with young people, so
Yeah.
and that takes time, and it takes watching other men
Mm,
and seeing men be men, and that's how that's how you help it. A brother's gonna watch you to see if you're
absolutely.
consistent. Let me see how he does with this person. Yeah,
Yep.
he's all right. Maybe I could talk to him.
Right.
That's just how it is.
I love it. I
Oh,
love
and
it.
I just want to give you and your family my most deepest condolences,
Yeah.
Thurston.
I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Um,
I really do.
and around this year, in the holidays, you're going through, everything's going to be first.
Yep. Yep.
You
Yep.
know, so you know you can run the tape back. Again, some of
Absolutely.
the things
Absolutely.
that
Yes.
was said today, but know that we're praying for you and your family
I know it.
constantly.
I know it. I truly appreciate each and every one of you guys, the way that you guys show up, the way that we show up for one another, the way that you constantly show up for me. I feel I feel bad for men that don't have this type of connection with other men, right? I really do. And I really want us to build out a platform, a space where men could feel comfortable just being themselves and talking and sharing and understanding that these type of conversations is where real manhood happens. This is where real manhood is developed in these type of conversations. So I appreciate you guys. I told Erica I would not be on super long. I think I just heard her come through the door with my food. I got some more football to watch tonight. So I appreciate you guys. Thanks for jumping on. I know it was last minute. I wasn't going to come on tonight because of everything that's going on, but I think it was important that we do. So in 2 weeks, we'll be back on again, and we're going to talk about whatever we talk about, guys. All right?
All right.
I love you
Love you
guys.
guys.
Thank you so much, bro.
Love you.
Okay.
All
God
right,
bless
y'all
you,
have a
man.
good one. Have a good
Love
one.
you.
Have a good one. Later.
Ain't no other crew spreading power like us. Brothers like us. Brothers like us. Ain't no other squad lifting spirits like us. Brothers like us. Brothers like us. Ain't no team bringing brotherhood like us. Brothers like us. Brothers like us. Ain't no man moving in purpose like us. Brothers like us. Brothers like us.